This video is the extended video of the Flexor Digitorum Profundus Tenodesis. In this particular case, it's for a high ulnar nerve in the left hand of a patient where the extrinsic flexors aren't working. But of course you can just do the mirror image of this for high median nerve. Andrew has the time code along the right hand side, so you can look at specific components of this video if you want to, but it's a fairly short video. This is a very handy procedure. So we have the left hand, and in this case we're doing our nerve transfers for the ulnar nerve high injury with the motor transfer of the anterior interosseous to the deep motor branch of the ulnar nerve and the sensory transfers off of the third webspace of the median nerve. So that will look after sensation and intrinsic motor function, but this profundus tenodesis that we're going to show you in this video will give us the extrinsic motor recovery promptly for this high ulnar nerve injury. So above the retractor has the superficialis tendons, and then we're going to identify the profundus tendons. Frequently the profundus tendon to the index finger will be independent, and if that's the case we don't include it in the tenodesis. We just let it be out there on its own. So now you've got the profundus tendon, and you just simply pull on the various components. Now that separate is FDP to the index, so we're not going to include that. And then coming right over will be FDP to the long, which is working nicely in this patient. It's ring and small finger FDP that are denervated and don't work at all. When you do the profundus tenodesis, you want your assistant to pull slightly, proximally, on the paralyzed profundi. And then you set your tension with a little more tension on the profundi to the ring and small finger than to the long finger. So that when there's contraction of the long finger profundus that's innervated by the healthy median nerve, the first pull that it will see will be into the profundus to the ring and small. So a little extra tension, just about that much, on the ring and small sublimus, or rather profundus tendons, will give you exactly what you're looking for to power up the ulnar denervated extrinsic motors. So I'm going through the ulnar profundi tendons. Then I'm going to come out and I'm going to move a bit distal to go through the profundus that's innervated by the median nerve to the long finger. So that extra little bit of pull, so my assistant pulls proximally, and then you can see I'm going a little bit distal on the innervated median profundus to the long finger. So when that innervated profundus starts to contract into the long finger, it's going to be giving its first pull into the profundi to the denervated ring and small, so it pulls first and gives it sort of a free ride, if you will, to that long finger profundus. Now you can check that you've got an appropriate amount of tension by looking at the cascade of the hand with the cascade of the index and then the middle ring and small finger. And you can see just that amount of difference there, that extra little bit of pull, and the first suturing that you do really sets up your tension. I'll do this back and forth suturing 3 or 4 times, but it's this first one, of course, it's going to set the tension. Nice. You can see how that's just snugging that in a little bit. Such a fun little easy thing to do to give that patient some immediate ulnar nerve extrinsic function. And you can see the muscle below is the pronator quadratus, where we've set up the AIN nerve transfer for our ulnar intrinsic function. Now just back and forth here, the tension is set with that first one. If it isn't right, then all these extra ones won't be right. But if it is right, then this just gives you sort of a additional tenodesis between those profundus tendons. So for high ulnar nerve, really this is what we do. We do all of our reconstruction distally. If the patient has pain because of the injury proximally on the ulnar nerve, then we would either transpose the ulnar nerve or graft it. But we get the extrinsic motor nerve recovery from this maneuver, then the intrinsic from the AIN nerve transfer, and the sensation by the nerve transfer from the third webspace expendable component of the median nerve, with a couple of end-to-sides for DCU recovery, dorsocutaneous ulnar recovery, and where we've taken the donor third web. But that's, as I said, on another video. Leaving that profundus index, if it's independent, out of this tenodesis, I think is a good idea. It's nice to have that independent FDP to the index. Postoperatively, we'll protect this with an extension block splint for 3 weeks, but allow flexion and just block full extension. And you can see the cascade with the index finger independent, and then the nice cascade long ring and small finger on those digits.